What's going on, guys? Jake here from the Fly Fiend. Thanks for tuning back in to another fly tying tutorial. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be tying up a D-rib stonefly. This is one of my favorite flies to tie and fish in the early spring when the water is high, but it's not dirty and you want to get flies down fast. I usually put on a heavier fly for my point fly, some sort of stonefly or bigger nymph. Lately I've been fishing this and it's been producing lots of fish, so I thought I'd tie it up for you guys. Without further ado, I'm going to throw a fresh hook in the vise and we'll get right into this tutorial. The hook I'm tying this fly on is a Firehole Sticks size 14. This is the model 718. This is my favorite hook for stonefly nymphs. Great long natural curve to it. I have that paired up with a 3mm tungsten bead in copper. The thread I'm going to be using is UTC in olive. This is a 70 denier. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to push that bead back and start my thread right on the front of that hook shank. I'm going to be tying in my antennas. And for that, I'm going to be using some crystal flash, and this is the black. You can use whatever color. You can use olive to kind of match the body. I like using the black. So I'm just going to put one on that side there. I'm going to fold this crystal flash over. I'm just going to make some securing wraps on this side. So once I got that in, kind of just give a little trim there. I'm just going to lift those up and just put a couple thread wraps underneath there. And this is going to help keep those kind of propped up and splayed away. So I'm just going to throw in my whip finish there, cut out my thread, I can push that bead up and restart my thread. So when you're tying these on smaller sizes, I definitely suggest keeping an eye on those thread wraps at the front, just so you have enough room to pull your bead back over. If you make too many thread wraps there, you're not going to be able to get that over. So just keep that in mind when you're tying. So we're going to tie in the tails, and we're going to be using that same crystal flash in black. I'm just going to do the exact same thing as I did on the antennas. Just going to put it on the thread there, double it over, and for the back I'm just going to let my thread wraps splay them. So you want them splaying off the back just like that. Then I can cut these just like so. Now I'm just going to bring my thread up this hook shank, keeping everything smooth. You want to have a nice smooth underbody when you put this ribbing material. So for the actual body, we're going to be using some UTC vinyl rib. This is olive. This is a size small. So I'm just going to cut about 4 inches there from my spool, and I'll lay that on the side of the shank facing towards me. And I'm just going to put some moderate pressure on that while I'm tying it in, just so it keeps it nice and slim and it doesn't create a lot of bulk. So once I have that secured, I can grab that vinyl D-rib now, and I'm just making touching wraps, creating this body and the segmentation. So you don't want to overlap these. You want to almost just touch the last one you did. And it's going to create a cool segmented body. Once I get up to my original tie-in point. I can just capture that, cut it off, and just clean up those a bit. So I don't do any counter rib or anything like this. This stuff's actually really strong. You could put a layer of some sort of UV curing resin over this if you're worried about it pulling out, but you're not going to have that kind of segmented look. I just leave it bare and don't have any problems with it. So next we're going to be tying in a little bump for our wing pads, and this is just going to be a little tight, small dubbing noodle. What I like to do is just put a little bit right on your thread. I'm going to tie just a very tight bump almost right on top of each other. So this dubbing is SLF squirrel, the spiky squirrel, and this is a fox. So I'm just going to just build a little bump right here, and that's just going to hold up my wing pad, just so it's not laying straight on the back of the body. And for our wing pad, we're going to be using some thin skin. This is the Alligator Natural. Just got a cool print on it. So I'm just going to cut a little piece here. Take it off the back side, just like so. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a notch creating that first wing pad, just like so. I'm just going to lay that right on top. I can make a nice securing wrap there. I can lift this up, cut out my extra. As you can see, that little dubbing underneath there just helped by propping that up. So now what I like to do is I'm going to put in a little thorax first, just so my legs have something to bite down into. So I'm going to grab some more of that same SLF dubbing, and I'm just going to build up a little thorax there, just like so, just so I have a little bit of material for my crystal flash to bite into when I secure it. So I'm going to grab this crystal flash again. I'm going to do this side first, trim that up. I'm going to come on this side, make a little pinch right there. And I can trim that down. And my rear legs, I usually like to keep it right to the back of that body. In the front, I like to leave just a little bit longer than that. So as you can see there, I have them tied in right into the actual thorax. That's going to get covered up. It's more or less just a little place I can anchor those legs into. So I'm just going to grab some more of that dubbing and finish building the rest of the thorax up. And I'm dubbing this pretty tight. Since I am Euro nymphing this, I'm going to try to keep it as slender as possible, even though it has lots of kind of stuff hanging off it. So just one more little noodle here, and we should be good for a thorax. I like to make one 2 wraps in front of those legs. Now we can grab the same thin skin again, cut another wing pad, and I just like to put two legs coming out each side, just like that. Most stoneflies have 3, but it's just easier to tie in 2, and once it's wet you can't even tell how many are actually there. So I'm just going to cut that same notch into that thin skin. I'm going to place that right on top. Try to secure here without getting my other piece of crystal flash. It's a little bit shorter, just like so. So you get your two wing pads coming off there. Now I can lift that up and just cut out the rest of this thin skin. Throw in my whip finish, 4 or 5 turn whip finish. Secure that, cut that out, then I can just come in and trim up my antennas and my legs. I like to usually keep my legs a little shorter, just like so. So you could actually fish that now. I like to come over with a little bit of Loon Outdoors thin. Just going to add durability and a little bit of lifelike look to it. So I like to come right up onto the back of that wing pad. Let that sit for a second. Then I can cure with my light. Try to get that little piece. Once that's cured, you're good to fish. So that's just going to secure all your wraps there, as well as just add a nice little finish to the fly and increase the durability. So hopefully today's tutorial, guys. If you did, give it a thumbs up. It helps me out a lot. If you have any questions about the fly or any of the materials, you can drop that down in the comment section below. If you want to purchase this fly or the materials I used on this fly, you can check out my website at theflyfiend.com. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Thanks a lot again for watching, guys, and we'll catch you in the next tutorial.